welcome to the Makeup Canvas. This is my first video for my YouTube channel and blog, and today I thought I would focus on eyes. The reason being, yesterday we went to my mother's belated birthday celebration where my sister and I took her and her friend for traditional tea and then a movie, and I decided, well, what better time to go a little out of my comfort zone and try something new. So I had been seeing these pink and burgundy eyes on magazines and on Younique's looks list, and I thought, that's something I don't really do. To me, pink in the eye, or not pink in the eye, that wouldn't be good. Pink on the eyelid, to me, always seemed like it would make me look sick. Or sickly. So I decided to try it out. I had some time, and no, this is not why I was late, Mom. Anyway, we all know I'm late for everything regardless. So I decided to try the pinks for that, and it actually turned out really well, so much so that I decided to post it on the blog and got quite a few likes, and it's the same eyeshadow look I was wearing in my new profile picture. And when I posted that, I got these crazy responses that I never expected, and apparently it was a good look for me. Thanks everybody. So I decided to go ahead and make my first video about a tutorial for how to do that eye look. And so that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so I've already done my entire face, but I usually don't do that. I usually will wait and do my foundation and concealer after I've done all my primer and moisturizing and sunscreen, all those things. The reason I choose to do that is because, especially when using loose pigment shadows or darker colors, glittery colors, the fallout that happens and can come down and fall below the eye area might even not be that noticeable at first to you, but it definitely changes the look of under your eye. You know, too much glitter under the eye. I mean, I'm 41 years old, or 40, almost 41, and too much glitter under my eye just looks like I'm either trying too hard to look not 41 or accentuates whatever fine lines and wrinkles I have, and I already am prone to dark circles, fun times, so I don't want anything to fall there that's darker than needed to be. But I had gone some places today before making this video, so I said I'll just make up my face and do the video later with my eyes. So that's why I'm made up now. Normally I wouldn't do that. But let's get started either way. So normally what I do once I'm ready to start is I choose a fairly neutral light base color. In this case, I'm using the Addiction Shadow Palette 1, and I'm using the shade Elated. That's just a nice neutral, hopefully you can see that, nice neutral base color. And I put that all over my entire lid. Here's where I need a magnifying mirror because I'm blind as a bat. So I'm going to put that over my entire lid area and up almost to the brow bone. Not quite, but almost. When I'm using these light colors, I don't worry about it as much, but when I'm using darker colors, I actually like to work out in the, so that I'm not getting color here in this side, which also causes that shadow and makes my under eye circles look even more vicious. And so then I'm going to move on to my base color. I just like the lighter neutral color because I feel like it gives it a smooth base to start with, a uniform color of sorts, because my eyelid is not necessarily uniform. So I then am going to switch, because I'm doing these pink looks, I'm going to switch to my Moodstruck Addiction Palette 3. And I started with this color, Smitten, to give it a little bit of that base color, a little bit of sheen. I'm going to go over just not as far up as I did with the neutral base color. I'm going to go about that far. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. Now I'm going to switch to Tickled, which is a pretty mauve color. I like it. And I'm going to take that in the crease, so I'm going to switch brushes. When I go into the crease, especially if I'm going with a dark or sparkly color, where is my crease brush? There we go. Sorry. I like to go with something short and stiff, just to keep control. So I'm going to do that with Tickled. Always tap off the excess so you're not ending up with it everywhere. And I'm going to go into my crease with that mauve color. And this is a matte color. I like to not do all glitter unless maybe it's a big nighttime thing where I'm not going to be out in the bright light. But if I decide I want to glam it up, then I will. But like I said, especially in the daytime, all that glitter will age you. I don't need that. So as you can see, I've got the Tickled, which is a pink, Tickled pink, and I've got that over part of my lid and into the crease. Now I'm going to switch to one of our mineral pigments from Younique. This is called Heartbroken. It is a really pretty, you probably, I don't know how well you can see that in the tube or in the jar, but this has a nice shimmer but not too glittery. The pigments you can get in matte or shimmer depending on the color you choose, but like our Splurge cream shadows are really glittery, really sparkly, so that's not what I would use for this. Okay, tap off that excess. Now I'm going to stick to the crease with this more shimmery color in the crease, going in, and I'm going to come over that other Tickled pink a little bit down into my lid corner. Okay, now this is the stage where you want to make sure and be blending in between steps. Blend, 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 because that makes all the difference in the world. And when I blend, I use something like one of these brushes. Okay, a domed, hopefully you can see that, a domed, fluffy bristle brush. I usually use the fatter one for when I'm trying to get the smoothest transition. For this, I'm going to use this more pointed, slightly pointed one, and I like to do very, very light circles. Not too far in because I don't want to start pushing shadow into this corner here. Just a little bit of blending. And later I'm going to do some more. So hopefully you can see it's a little bit of change with the sparkle, and it's a little more, less, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, a little less wine and more pink as you get into here. Okay, so then I'm going to go into my mineral pigment that is called Twitter Pated, and it's a nice matte navy color. Fairly matte. And I'm just going to go into my outer corner. I'm not going to go too low so I don't drag the corner of the eye down, and I'm not going to go too far in because this is just an accent. So now I'm going to use my bigger fluffy brush, this one, and I'm going to lightly, lightly, lightly blend. And I don't want to go too far out. I don't want shadow way out here, but the good thing is if you do it before you do your face makeup, then you can clean up any of that very easily and make a more precise line if that's what I like. Okay, so for daytime, I'm not going to go too dramatic here, but hopefully you can see that it's a gradient from the darker bluish purple, this shimmery darker pink, maybe wine color, and the lighter pink. Now what I like to do next is I always use a light usually somewhat shimmery, but doesn't have to be, color for brightening. In this case, I believe I might have used a pigment called Curious yesterday. I'm not positive, and I don't have it in front of me. So I'm going to take out palette 3 again. If I can get it open. Oops. And I'm going to use, because these are a lot of cool colors, I don't want to go back to my palette 1. And I'm going to use Smitten, which is the lighter, shinier one. And I'm going to get my Younique double-ended brush. It has a angled shadow brush on one side, and it has a sponge brush on the other. I don't love sponge brushes. I mean, they have their place, I guess, sometimes, but they're not my favorite, so I don't use those that often. I'm going to take a little bit of the light, sparkly Smitten, and I'm just going to put a little, not a stripe, but a smudge of it right here from the center of my pupil or iris area into almost to the corner. Just like that. Okay, so it gives it a little bit of attention grabbing to this part and makes your eyes pop a little bit more. Okay, now, there's where we are now. This may seem like a lot of steps. The more you do it, the more you get used to it. It goes faster. Also, you can do this with 2 colors and still get some variation. The important thing is that you're not just using one plain light nude color, and that's boring. I mean, I guess you can do that if you want, but who wants to be boring, right? So now I'm going to do my last shadow. In this case, I'm going to go back to the Elated that I got from palette 1. That's closer to a nude, a matte nude. And I like to define, I'm just going to choose this brush. It's not perfect for what I want, but, and I've got just a basic eyeshadow brush. I'm going to use that nude bone kind of color, and I'm going to go from the inner corner up through that natural indentation there, and I'm going to go all the way up to the brow bone with it. And it just kind of gives a little blend there, but that blends that transition between the dark and the rest of your color.
Hey Bella. Steven, you may know.
Mike's home, so you can hear him talking to Addie. Okay, so I've got my eyeshadow done. I'm going to go to liner, and I used a black liquid liner for this look, and I only have Younique's liquid eyeliner in the blue shade. I still had several of Kat Von D's tattoo liner, which is also great, so I'm still using that up. Then I'm going to get the Younique shade, because it's a really great one too. And you need to make sure and go into the corner. I see too many people who start their line out here, and that just looks weird. Okay, so I'm doing little dots. See that? And I'm going to continue doing little dots all the way across, little strokes. I'm suddenly talking like this because I'm trying not to move too much. Okay, now you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of a bleeding going on there. I'm just going to gently, very gently with my finger, brush my finger across that, and it gets rid of the excess that's kind of bleeding there without messing up your entire line. This one dries very fast too. So now I've gone to about this point. Here's where I'm going to go from outside in. I'm going to start not down here where my eye ends, because my eyes already droop down. I don't want to, my shape of my eye does that. I don't want to make it worse. I'm going to start just above that point. So here is that point where I would start. I'm only going to go a tiny bit past the eye because I'm not looking for some great dramatic wing. I only go so far with that because I think a certain age, you should only go so far. So I'm going to go just it's a hair outside and draw in. I'm not going to worry about it matching here. I'm worrying about connecting that line to where I stopped here. Okay, you can see that. Then I'm going to go and fill in underneath. Now, it's actually a little higher than I would normally go. So see, it's all fixable. Now, if you are not thrilled with your line, here's mine. If you feel like your line is not straight enough, sharp enough, whatever it is you think it needs, it's okay to smudge the edge a bit. Because this dries really fast and hard, I'll use something short and stiff like an eyeliner brush or eyebrow brush, and I'll dip it in a little bit of shadow, and I will, a dark shadow obviously, and I will go over that gently along the edge, and then just kind of with my finger blend it in, and it softens up that hard line, and anything very any big screw-ups, to be honest with you, are easily camouflaged, okay, without having to take off your whole eyes and do it all over again. And here's another little hack for you. When you get those mascara wand errors and you've got dots of mascara places that you didn't mean to have it, and eyeliner out here because your kid came in screaming and you jumped, take a little concealer and dot a tiny bit where your mistake is, and gently flick a concealer brush like this over that spot, and you'll lift it right up without disturbing everything underneath. If something is covered up, that a color that, you know, it's faded now because you used a little concealer to wick off that black or liner or mascara, just touch up that little spot. That's all you need to do. Makes things much easier. This trick saved my life. I can't take credit for it. I saw it somewhere else. Okay, so here is the liner. I'm now going to go to mascara, and my new favorite. I have so much mascara. It's ridiculous. Like, my lashes have never been thick enough for my liking. So I have always been in the search for the perfect mascara, and I found several that I really like. But I am honestly, truly impressed by the Younique Moodstruck 3D fiber lashes. Like, unbelievable. So, here's how these work. And there's some steps to make it work best. For now, I'm just going to focus on getting it on there because the whole tutorial was about the overall look. I could do a separate video another time for how our great fibers work. So I'm looking at this and I realize something's missing. I totally forgot to do my lower lashes and my lining of my lower lashes. So let me show you what I do with that. What I'm going to use is this very small fine liner brush from, actually this is a Real Techniques brand brush, which also makes good brushes. And my Heartbroken pigment. Dip my brush in there. Tap. And I'm just going to go very close to my lash line with that Heartbroken color. I'm losing light here, so I apologize if you're not getting as much as you'd like to see. And I go all the way up that corner to where I started my liquid liner, or ended my liquid liner rather. and I'm going to line almost all the way. Some people only line to the center of the pupil. I'm going right along my waterline, just under the waterline, right by the lash line. Then I'm going to take that navy Twitter painted pigment, same brush, and I'm going to go right over the pink. Under, but just under the lashes, so that I've got a little pink showing and a little blue, like so. Finally, it's always a good idea to brighten up your inner corners of your eye. I'm so blind, I need something to see. Okay, and I'm going to use the same, I can use either the same light palette color I used from before, Sincere, or I can use something brighter. I did use Curious in the pigments, which is a little brighter, for sake of not having to go find it. I'm going to use the same color that I used here, and I'm going to go right into the corner on the bottom and the top, and it just makes it brighten up and pop a little bit. I'm not going to go through and do a brow right now. That's a whole nother lesson in itself, but when I finish my brows, I always go through and do a highlight under the brow, on the brow bone, just under my arch. So that would be another step. I've been using an angled, rounded brush and going under it like this, depending on what I used, if I used a shadow. If I'm using more of a cream highlighter, I use my concealer pointed brush and blend it in. So there's still a little on here, so you might be able to see something. Okay. So I would highlight this entire area, but focusing most right here under the arch. And then I would go ahead and do my foundation and concealer on the bottom of my face. I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you want to see more, let me know what kind of things you want to learn, or colors, shades, products, techniques, parts of the face, anything you want to learn about. I'm happy to do a video on, and if I don't know how to do it, I'll find out how to do it. So I hope you come back and see more videos. Let me know what you like, what you want to see. Thanks.